Hey everybody, it's Coach Cliff, exercise physiologist, sports nutritionist, personal trainer, been doing it my whole life. And the things that I have learned since college and grad school and everywhere in between, it's just insane. And I'm going to give you 5 dieting myths that don't work, that I promise all 5 of these you do or have done. And it didn't work. So you tried to find the magic sauce, the magic reason, the secret that worked. And I'm going to tell you these 5, one in each video. So look for the other ones. Okay, so number 1 is calorie restriction diets. It's this mindset that counting calories keeps you thin. No. Do calories count? I'd say no, but yeah, they do. They do. But here's the thing. We all know people who can eat anything they want and they stay lean. And then you have these other people that seemingly don't seem like they eat anything and they gain weight. Maybe that's you. What is it? What's the secret behind this? Why did my friend go on this eating plan or this diet and lost all this weight and they look fantastic? What are they doing that's different? Let me explain. All right. So the calorie in, calorie out theory, it's one of the hardest ways to lose weight permanently. Why? Well, every time that you eat less and exercise more, you change your metabolic set point. All right. I had this on. Yeah. Take a look at this. I'm just going to draw this little dot. It's a set point. So that right there is your set point. I'm going to use me for an example. So 170 pounds for me, not a huge guy, is my set point. I can just tell you that. You could probably tell your set point too, because when I get up to 175, 178, boy, if I see 178 in the scale, I'm like, I got to do something. I got to change this a little bit. I'm not comfortable. And as soon as I start just watching what I'm eating, cutting alcohol, just backing off a little bit, I go right back to 170. Same thing as if I go down to 160 to 165, and I will a lot of times if I'm training for an Ironman, training for something long and hard, especially if I'm watching what I'm eating, I'll drop down to here a few weeks after the Ironman when I kind of back off a little bit. It goes right back up to 170. I let it go a little bit longer, it goes up to 175. So that is my set point right there. The thought that the lucky people get a lower set point and the unlucky ones get a higher set point is not true. That means that genetically you have the set point that you were born with and can't change. Not true at all. You absolutely can change your set point. So it turns out that this is where the low calorie diets will fail you, because each time you lowered your threshold, you made it more difficult on yourself to eat any other way. When you go back to eating more calories or working out less, so you kind of fall off your program. We all do it. The pounds came back on much easier the next time, right? Because you are above your set point threshold. So you lowered it down here. You lowered the set point. So I'm going to write the dot down here. And now it's just going to go right back up there very, very easily. So this really represents our metabolism. So now your metabolism, can you read that? Your metabolism is lowered, and then it's going to go back up to here very quickly and easily. It's kind of maddening, isn't it? This has been the women's go-to diet for years, right? Often this approach does produce a temporary result, which seduces you to keep coming back for more because it works. And I hear this 100 times a day. People will say, well, I can lose weight. I just, say it with me, I just can't keep it off, right? And so my goal is to tell people, I'm going to help you lose weight, and then I'm going to show you how to keep it off. And the way to do that is to keep that set point up higher. But over time, your body starts fighting this reduction in calories by increasing your hunger signals to your brain. And those are some of the most strongest signals that you have. And when those signals start increasing in your brain, your metabolism gets slowed down every single time. This is why it's really hard to succeed at low calorie diets for a long period of time. So if this is you, let's look at one of the most famous studies on calorie restriction ever done. It's back in the 1960s, and it was called the Minnesota Starvation Experiment. So they took a bunch of people, and they, over a 13-month period, these people, it was men, these men, 36 men over a 13-month period, got to and decided on a 1,500 calorie a day diet. Now, I don't know what that sounds like to you, but that would be hard for me. Anytime I start going below 2,000 calories in a day, I'm starting to hurt. When they administered this low-calorie diet, men lost weight. But they noticed something else during the time that they were losing the weight and getting closer to whatever weight they got to. They became overly preoccupied with the thought of food all the time. You see that in anorexics or bulimics. They're reading recipe books and looking at food. They love watching cooking shows, so they're obsessed with food because they can't have it, and so it becomes this obsession. I've seen this in my coaching world and coaching athletes and track and field athletes, and especially the female track and field athletes. First, they became preoccupied with that food, and then they started noticing depression, anxiety. They couldn't stay focused on daily tasks. So ADHD feelings in the people, right? Can you relate? Then they also became hypochondriacal, meaning they're hypochondriacs. Over everything was just drama in these men, right? I mean, I don't know if we think of women that do that more, guys do it too. I mean, we can be just the biggest drama queens of anybody. And then interesting, they started to withdraw socially from their friends, their family, the people in their world. They just didn't want to be around them. It wasn't because they were embarrassed of anything. It was just because they were depressed. They had anxiety. They just didn't want to be around people. It sounds kind of like your last diet, doesn't it? Yeah. So as concerning as this sounds, perhaps the most startling result of this study was that when the experiment was over, not only did they gain the weight back very quickly, but they had a lot of mental problems, like for good. They had all the depression and anxiety ongoing. So on so many levels, this study proves the damage calorie restriction does to our health, not only short term, but long term as well. So calorie restriction is not the answer. I'm going to give you number 2 tomorrow, and then we'll put it all together at the end. You'll know the 5 reasons and how to not do that anymore, and what you need to do to lose the weight and keep it off and have an amazing set point and increase your metabolism without starving yourself, because it doesn't work that way. Y'all have a great day.